I'm Chief Meteorologist John Mayer, and we have been tracking out that next significant active weather event heading our way through the end of the week. Thursday, Friday, going to be eventful. Now, this is all coming on the heels of what was already an eventful windstorm around the region, and yet winds are actually expected to pick up again. This time could be even stronger still as we move towards the end of the week. We're looking at widespread high wind watches on the coastline alongside some of those wind advisories here in the valleys. This is all really going into effect for us on Thursday. Thursday is the major event when we're expecting this atmospheric river to take aim right here in our backyard and likely going to see significant wind gusts, especially on the coastline. Not picking up until Thursday, but when they do, get ready. These wind gusts could get up to around 20 to 30 miles per hour at first, but watch what happens when we get into the afternoon. Suddenly we're talking 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts all up and down the coast, and a good chance that we start to see those stronger winds here in the valleys as well. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds that are likely going to continue essentially all day long. We're looking at that risk of 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts on the coast for roughly 8 to 12 hours on Thursday. That is why we have the high wind watches, and that's why we're putting that weather alert day tag on Thursday. Not the only day. We're also expecting Friday to pack a punch as well, though we should start to see those winds quieting down. Once we get past Thursday into Friday morning, most of that risk for those stronger, gusty, damaging winds begins to fall by the wayside. Instead, the focus becomes what's left behind, and frankly, there is a lot. We're also seeing the return of those flood watches. This is with us not just Thursday, actually all the way until Saturday morning. It's not just the risk of significant rainfall, but also river levels that could start to rise as we make our way through the end of the week. It'll take some time to just handle how much rain we're going to see. So let's dive right in. Again, this all picks up later tonight. We're talking midnight and beyond. That's when we start to see that major push. And at first, this is just consistent rainfall, not necessarily torrential downpours, but consistent hour after hour, all the way through Thursday morning. However, once we get to late morning, early afternoon, now we're starting to see those significant downpours. Now we're looking at rain rates getting up to 1/4 inch per hour, if not higher. Now that very quickly can lead to some significant rain totals. And while this will be more focused a little further north at first, Lincoln County, Benton County, Lynn County, very similar to what we saw last week, this is going to continue to work its way through the rest of the region, still very much taking aim through Lane County, down on the south coast, and eventually Douglas County, though that last point going to take some time. Likely not seeing significant rainfall down into the Umpqua valleys until the end of the week, but Friday morning, we're expecting that rain to pick up. Thursday night into Friday morning could still see some significant rain totals down further south, but I'll tell you, it's not going to take long before those rain totals ramp up for the rest of us. Morning hours, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. If that's where we ended, it wouldn't be a major story, but this just continues to add up. When those rain rates begin to escalate, now we're getting closer to 1 inch plus just by the early afternoon. We get deeper into the afternoon and evening, now we're getting closer to 1 inch, 2 inches, possibly 3 inches of rainfall by the end of the day on Thursday. And again, while it will take some time to arrive further south, still expecting Douglas County to get their push by the time we get deeper into the day on Friday. So again, Thursday is the big rainmaker for most spots. It will take some time before that wet weather really hits further south. Look at the difference here. North Bend versus Newport. Yeah, we're expecting much more of this off to the north at first, but by Friday morning, these numbers are going to ramp up for everyone. We're still expecting a good solid 1 to 2 inches, even down to the south, and 2 to 4 inches. Still a possibility for us anywhere from Lane County up into Lincoln, Benton, and Lynn counties. Major risks here going to be the potential of landslides, rock falls as that rain really ramps up, especially into the higher elevated areas. We're talking the coastal range over into the Cascade foothills. We saw some landslides just with the last event, and that was primarily a wind event. Now we add wind with significant rainfall. The risks really start to ramp up. There's also the threat of some localized flooding, urban areas into low-lying creeks and streams. And then by Friday, all of this rain eventually starts to deposit into the rivers. Now we're seeing that risk of river flooding in some of those low-lying areas around the bends. This is a lot to watch for, but that's why we're going to continue to keep you informed heading through the end of the week, Thursday and Friday, dealing with rain totals that are likely going to be record-setting all around the region. Stick with us on air and online. We'll continue to keep you informed as we head into that pair of weather alert days through the end of the week. We're expecting some significant activity, some major impacts, power outages, very much likely. This initial event going through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, really just a taste of what's to come. This next one going to pack a much bigger punch through the end of the week.